distracting.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Learning the
um,
equipment.
Dang. I was expecting Eric to be here too because I knew he watched the podcast. But did you see the podcast with Cat Williams in it?
Oh, yeah.
You saw it?
I mean, I saw, I don't know if I can say I saw the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw enough.
Mm-hmm.
I saw enough of it.
What were you thinking of that? Do you think he was saying crazy things, or do you think he was just speaking what he thought was the truth, or what is the truth?
I know Shannon Sharp was loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Helped his ratings for his
Oh yeah,
podcast,
of
that's for
course,
sure. I
of
didn't even
course.
know Shannon Sharp had any of those other guys on his podcast before
Right.
until Kat came on and called them all out.
Mhm.
Well, Kat said, you had them all on here before
Right.
talking all that nonsense. I listened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm coming on afterwards, and I'm telling you, in a sense, what he's saying is I'm telling you a whole different version,
Mm-hmm.
whole different story about what actually took place in a lot of those encounters that he had with each of those guys. Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, and I guess it was the fourth one. I think.
Faison?
Faison Love. He's a little lower level.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did say something about Tyler Perry as well,
And
Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of a wake up call, and it just kind of like just shocked everyone because he was basically exposing like a bunch of things that people they wouldn't realize unless they're either there or if they just took what the other people were saying for face value.
He sounded truthful, Cat. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he sounded very confident
Mm-hmm.
in what he was saying.
Yeah.
And he didn't get tripped up at all. He didn't contradict himself not once.
Mm-hmm.
He's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no doubt about it. He is a very, very, very experienced stand-up comedian.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so, I mean, he sounded believable.
I mean, you hear anyone talk about Cat Williams, you don't hear.
He sounded believable.
Yeah. I just thought that was pretty cool. But I mean, what I thought was really cool about it though was how he was talking about how he came up from a teenager, literally had a few dollars to his name, and he just moved all the way down to Florida, and then just try to start up a new life for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love it when these stories about people like him, quote unquote, successful people,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about a choice
Mm-hmm.
or a decision
Mm-hmm.
that they made. And at the end of the day, we can tell young people your life is going to come down to the choices and decisions that you make.
Yeah.
But hearing somebody saying that doesn't seem to register. But when you watch someone do that,
Mm-hmm.
he made a choice.
Yeah.
A big ass deal. Did he know that by moving down to Florida, 10 years from now, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire? No. Was he hoping? Yes.
He was hopeful.
Did he know?
No.
He just made a decision. Like many people after.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that he did is, like I tell all the guys all the time, there's always 3 outcomes to every decision.
Mm-hmm.
A good one, a bad one, or none. No one.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't make a decision one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can avoid making a bad decision by making no decision. You can avoid making a good decision by making no decision.
Yeah.
But in this case, give him the man credit.
Mm-hmm.
He made a decision. Did he know it was going to turn out to be great? No. But
No.
did he sit on his ass and not do nothing? No. And everybody's like, that's a great story. No shit, Charlotte. Give me your story too. You get off your fat ass and do something.
I saw something before that was saying in today's age, it's one of the easiest times to actually be somebody because people are lazier than ever, and then they want rewards for not even doing anything. So
and they'll give you rewards for not even doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, participation rewards and everything.
So like you said, it's the easiest time to be successful.
So if you could be that one person that just stays consistent, you don't have to be that great at it. You just stay consistent.
Want it.
Yeah, and then
you just gotta want it more than talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta want it.
Yeah.
If you want it bad enough, it's just so many easy ways to get it nowadays. And like you said too, so many people. I think nowadays, so many people are so easily taken. Their money is taken from people. People's money gets taken easily nowadays. I mean, they give it up, but yeah, you don't really have to be, great at what you do in order to get people to pay you. You just have to be persistent. I mean, media content is a perfect example. Not everybody's good, but I mean, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it. It'll open up for you.
And that's why, I mean, people usually say a lot of times that for something to really start paying off the way that you want it to pay off, they say it usually takes about 5 years at least.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I heard. Statistics for all businesses, any business that you start on your own, the threshold is 5 years. If you can make it 5 years, then they say that you have sustainability. But the thing people don't realize this too is what they mean by that is 5 years of earning.
Okay.
Not 4 years of wishing and then have a breakthrough year and now you're great.
Out of nowhere. Just
not 4 years of dusting your hand and wishing, and then on the 5th year you made dollars and now you're a success. 5 years of earning.
Okay.
And that's like anything. If you're making money for 5 straight years, you should be knowing what you're doing.
You should be an expert at it at that time.
Well, at least, good at it. Let's not get carried away. At least good at it, I mean, at least have some kind of idea what you're doing in 5 years. Yeah. But I think the thing about going back to the Cat Williams, Sterling Sharp, again, I think what Cat Williams said gets attention, but I think only because people are just not paying attention to the whole podcast. Anybody can say anything they want to say kind of media. I mean, we literally have a podcast. I mean, we're having a podcast right now. Is any lawyers here checking what we're saying?
PR team or anything?
Making sure we making sure we saying truth. Is anybody fact checking what we're saying right now? If I told you that I saw Steve Harvey the other day in the airport and we had an argument.
You could say it,
right?
Yeah, and there's no one fact checking it neither.
I can say it, and I bet it'll get out there. So I mean, that's the podcast world. Now I'm not saying everybody that has a podcast lies, but we always know there's always 3 sides to every story. His side, and the truth.
Yeah.
So if everybody's going to get on talking their side of the story, then we're going to have a whole lot of stories out there and a whole lot of podcasts and going on and a whole lot of conversation about what he said and he said and he said and he said and he said.
Yeah, see, that's way too much. I mean, but the thing is, a lot of stuff, well, unless it's like really personal stories. I mean, you can fact check it though. Like after you hear it,
you should be able to.
But I don't think a lot of people do that though.
But you're not gonna be able to fact check what Cat and them were talking about.
Yeah, that type of stuff
happened 20 years ago.
Well, the thing that he was talking about how there was a joke that he told and then it was stolen by Cedric.
You can go back.
They should be able to fact check that one.
He said that but the thing about it is, Cat Williams said he put on 19 different comedy tours. He put on 19 different comedy tours. Tours each of different cities.
Yeah.
Each tour. So if you find the one that he said that, I'm
that joke, right?
Be able to find it.
It'll be a lot of research.
Right. But I mean, no, I remember that way he said that Cedric. He said Cedric don't write. He said Cedric don't write. He said Cedric's not a writer. He said that his whole argument was that he's a pure blood stand-up. Like Eddie, Richard, Bill Curry, which used to be his mentor. Michael Curry, I think it was his name. He used to be his mentor. And I remember Michael Curry from his sitcom. But he, his argument is that Steve Harvey, Cedric, and to a lesser degree Ricky Smiley, but he says Ricky Smiley is basically just Steve Harvey and Cedric's little gopher.
Yeah.
Wherever he got in is because Steve Harvey and Cedric got him in Kings of Comedy and stuff. But he said that Steve and Cedric have not done any stand-up comedy since the Kings of Comedy. And they're sitcom guys now. He said they're on TV. And so his whole argument was that they're not real stand-up. They're sitcom comedians, and they're not stand-up comedians in the ilk of himself and the guys he fashions, like Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Those are stand-up.
Yeah, those are people that actually write their material and then stand up on stage.
Test their material, go up on stage and do their material, tour their material, all that kind of stuff. Take pride in their material.
Yeah. So yeah, those are real comics. Because I mean, even Dave Chappelle talked about his jokes being stolen too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's why he said, that's what Cat was making a big deal about. And again, like I said, he challenged those guys. And anybody who was listening to the podcast, go ahead and fact check me if you want to. And he seemed very confident about what he said. Now I don't watch podcasts, and I didn't really know Sterling Sharp even had a podcast. But I heard the arguments. I mean, I heard the people talking about it, so I went to look and see.
And see what it was about.
I like the setting. Matter of fact, we need to get ourselves some of that brandy.
Yeah, that looked really good.
Yeah. Put on the table like that with the leather sofa and stuff, man. That I like.
Yeah, right. The vibe was like a really classy vibe.
It was like a intellectual environment, like a study.
Yeah, it was like a study
with some nice, brandy, top shelf stuff. And it's funny because Stanley Sharp tried to bait Cat into saying, it was alcohol that's talking. Cat said, no, man. Alcohol don't talk to me.
No, he said that from the beginning because Cat started off saying some crazy stuff. He was like, man, you've been drinking too much. He's like, man, look, I've had this much.
Alcohol ain't talking for me. You have more than I have. So he was ready for this. He came on on a mission. And I mean, like I said, that podcast ain't real long, and I didn't watch it from beginning to end because I watched it on YouTube, and I know that it was longer.
I mean, surprisingly enough, though, there's a lot of podcasts out there where the normal is to be at least like an hour and a half or more.
I know. I know. So a long time.
Yeah, usually if I'm watching something like that where it's like over an hour and a half, I usually like break it up into pieces, like whenever I'm driving or. Every time, something like that.
I mean, I'm not a podcaster, so I couldn't do it. I mean, I couldn't sit and listen to two people talk for an hour and a half. I mean, I can watch a movie for an hour and a half, but I'm not sitting listening to people talk shit for an hour and a half. That's why I watch it for a few minutes, and then I'm like, all right,
I know what you're talking about. I get the gist of it.
Yeah, I got it, I mean, dude, man. Now, if I had a drink, and I'm sitting there drinking with you, and I could talk to you, then I'll talk for that hour and a half. But I'm just listening to you. Man, I feel like I'm sitting around listening to some two women talk. So, but I mean, I always say, well, hey, to each their own. Some people might like that, but I thought it was funny watching Shannon and Cat Williams.
No, I think it was really refreshing. And you also did say one thing that really stuck with me too. He was saying like 2024 is the year of truth. Now, regardless, like every day you should be, always honest and always truthful. But I think like, especially since all the things that we've been going through with in 2023 and before that about a lot of the lies that, we're forced to accept. I think it's really important that we're now like standing on, no, this is what the truth is, and this is what we're going to go by, instead of just going to a fairy tale. So, like, do you think that really, like in my head, I see that kind of incorporates with like choices and decisions, like you're saying, because in order to make choices and decisions, I think you have to be truthful with yourself as well.
Well,
So I mean, I don't know
yeah,
what you think about that. Like,
I think though, I think when he was mentioning about 2024 being the year of the truth, I think that the kind of truth, I mean, that could be a good thing to have a campaign for truth.
mm-hmm.
It, on the surface, sounds like it could be a good thing. However, my suspicions are that when they start talking about 2024 being the year of the truth, whose truth?
Well, that's what you have to hope for. It's the truth.
Well, because I bet you right now, um, Tyler Perry, Cedric Entertainer, Jason Hart, and Ricky Smiley probably got some truth they want to talk about too. Right?
Of course.
But they believe it's true.
That okay.
No,
I mean, the thing is, if you
and
actually,
that's what podcasts are for, right? You come on with your truth. If there was just one truth, there wouldn't be no podcast shows, man. Where would the drama be? Where would the interest be?
well, that's the thing, because I think there is only one truth.
There should be.
Everyone has their perspectives
Right.
of it, but that doesn't make it true because they saw it that way.
And it doesn't make it true because they're saying it on your podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, really, without being able to verify anything that's being said, it's still just a glorified he said, she said.
Yeah.
On digital.
Yeah.
You just took the he said, she said from the street.
Just
put it up on digital, dog. This is the modern day.
Yeah, everything's
Same
with the
game.
screen.
Same game.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just amplified more because
it's nowadays. It's digital, and it's nowadays digital. And a lot of times, things that are happening on podcasts and on digital, on Facebook conversations over videos or pictures, the same kinds of conversations are the conversations we used to have off digital.
Yeah, same drama with your boys. Yeah,
same drama. Same drama that you would do in your own friends, your own circles. It would travel by word of mouth. You know, did you hear what Tad said the other day? Yeah, man, that nigga pissed me off, man. I heard he was talking to your girl too. Nah, man, that was wait. I mean, it traveled word of mouth. That same shit on Facebook now, and social media and podcasts. Recognize the game. It's the same game. Just different equipment. But the young people nowadays think it's like it's different. No, man, see it for what it is. I got nothing but love for guys who want to start their own business, podcast business. But again, at the end of the day, what they're doing is what we sit around and do in our living rooms. Talk about people.
But you gotta admit, it's still amplified though.
Oh, it is.
Like you said, it's just me and you talking, but now
that's
that it's
what
on
makes
the
it
screen,
dangerous.
Yeah, everybody can see it. I got someone in China right now listening to everything that I'm saying.
If your opinion was worth 1 million people hearing about it, man, that ought to be. I mean, there should only be certain people that have that kind of access.
Anyone has access.
Nowadays, any idiot has that kind of access. Any idiot. And then what that ends up doing though is that ends up drawing out those people that buy what idiots are selling. Because let's face it, the market should be able to market, being the people, should be able to say, that's garbage. I don't want to look at that. But garbage always finds somebody to look at it. Garbage always finds somebody to look at it.
I mean, garbage is the easiest thing to eat. That's the easiest thing.
It's the easiest thing for people to find.
Yeah.
Usually because it's free.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a free one that you can get. Just you got to recognize the game, man.
So how do you recognize what's garbage and what's not?
You got to know what's garbage to you. I mean, because again, the only thing you can control is how you feel about something. And if you look at something and whether it's something to eat, wear, whatever you do with it, if you're not attracted to it, you should know. If it's something to eat and you don't want it, you know. If it's something to wear and you don't like it, you know. If it's something to say and you don't agree with it, you know. Don't you?
You should, but
My point is this. You should, and if you don't, you need to strengthen that because it's what you believe and what you feel about things that you see in whatever arena it is that's going to govern how you react. And if you're not tapped into how you feel about stuff, and you create how you feel about stuff, if you're not paying attention to that, if you don't believe, if you don't feel like how I believe about this. I mean, you don't have to be individual things. Area. Like if you don't have a strong feeling about what I like or dislike when it comes to eating, what I like or dislike when it comes to dressing, what I like or dislike when it comes to socializing, friends, what if you don't have a strong connection to what it is you like and don't like, then you're gonna have a problem picking out when it comes to noticing information. Is this jive with what I like or what I don't like? Does this connect with what I like? If somebody says something, does that sound like something I would say? Don't look at it and maybe I should. No, dude, you already should know. Is this something you would say or not?
I think that also comes from like morality too. Like what are your
Does that
morals?
make sense?
Oh yeah, it does make sense. But
you gotta have your standard.
Because a lot of people, and that's another thing too. Like I said, like garbage is the easiest thing to attain. So like, are those people? Are they not sure what they like, or are their morals just that bad?
Both. Because both. Because if you're having one, is also having the other. If you're someone who is making bad choices, but you don't understand why they're making bad choices. Is it because they just don't know what they like, or is it because they have no standard, no moral code? Both, both. Because one comes with the other. If you have no moral standard or moral code or know what you like or don't like, you are going to make bad choices.
Yeah.
There's a saying, used to be a saying back in the old days. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that quote. That's one quote I think of all the time too. Yeah.
As you grow up as an adult, you have to yourself. For you, it's you. You're not proving points to nobody else. This is what I will and won't do in life. Me. This is my standard of living. This is my life. And you develop that as you get older. And it's in all areas. I mean, again, it may just start out. Most of the time, it starts out with clothes.
What clothes do I like? Do I like this style?
And hey, man, you only wear what you like.
Yeah, it took me a while to find my style, and even now, I'm still searching. Because me personally, my favorite thing to wear, I love sweatpants. I can literally wear sweatpants anywhere I go, but I know like that's not the only style I can have. Because if I'm going somewhere, I need to wear like at least jeans or something.
Right.
I need to have my style for that. So for that, I have, my slim jeans, and then I like Hawaiian shirts. But I'm still searching for stuff. But I know, like,
but you know what you're doing? You're paying attention to it. You're thinking about it.
Okay.
You're paying attention to it. You're not just going with the flow. You're not just walking out the door and have people go, "What is that?"
Yeah. What the hell you got on?
And then your response is, "Oh, I don't care about
I just do anything on it.
Nah. See?
At least you're beyond that. I look for a certain style. Yeah, of course.
You've grown in that area, but I'm telling you, you could break your whole life, the other areas of your life down that way too. Because dressing is one thing. Food, you do the same thing with food. I bet you eat more food you like than you don't like.
Oh yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Because you can choose to do it, and so you've created. I'm sure you probably got your top 10 list. You created things you like to eat, and you know exactly where to go to get things you like to eat. And when somebody tries to introduce something to you that you've never tasted before, you react like, okay, let's see if this is something I'm going to like. You don't just automatically say,
let me try it. Yeah.
I love it. No, I don't. You never tasted it before. How you know you love it? But if you can use that kind of focus on politics, information, you hear people say something that you've never heard before. Don't eat it like you've had it all your life. Taste it. Check it out. See what they say. See if it matches what you like. It matches you because, again, a lot of times if you don't interpret or if you don't understand what the person's trying to say and you agree with it, it becomes you. People start to think, well, okay, that's what Taz believes. And then when you get a second look at it, well, I didn't really look at it the first time, but now that I'm looking at it, yeah, no, I don't think so. Those kind of things, you may not always get a second chance. But no, I just think though a lot of the times though you pay attention to something, you get better, you grow, and you develop your standard, and then nobody can sell you a fake.
Okay. So I mean, along with that too, so like to make sure that I don't have bad morality or I at least have a standard for something, what do you suggest that we should do? Do you think like religion would be the best answer for that?
Absolutely. Well, that's always a place to start. I mean, if you're going to look to try and create a foundation of moral strength, and I agree that every adult needs to create a foundation of moral strength, right and wrong, do unto others as if you would want them to do unto you. You have to start. You have to start from a spiritual base.
Okay.
I believe that wisdom comes from the Bible or from people who get it from the Bible. There's only two kind of people, two places I can get wisdom from the Bible or from someone who's given it to me from the Bible. And so, yeah, I believe that the Bible is the first place to start to get moral clarity, and then to build a strong moral foundation. And that's only because, too, again, choices and decisions. I mean, everything comes down to those choices that you make. And if you're looking to have a strong moral base, you need to focus on the choices that you're making. And how do I make good choices? Have a good spiritual mentor. The book, the Bible, the verses, the scriptures, the books, the chapters. There's always good information to be found that you can use to make good choices and good decisions going forward. So, to answer your question, that would be the first place to start.
Now, let's say that there's someone that's like an atheist or something, and they completely don't even want to try looking at a Bible. Is it still possible for them to have good moral code, or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's possible for them to make better good choices than bad choices. It's still possible for them to treat people like they would want to be treated. And so, yeah, I believe that could happen. They probably couldn't get a lot of mentoring from me, though.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to help them, but I have faith that they probably can find that same moral strength too.
Okay. And then yeah, about the choices and decisions. How do you become more aware of the choices and decisions that you get in that you're making throughout your day to day? Like, because I figure most people don't even realize that they're making choices and decisions every single day.
You didn't hear my answer. Your initial question was, how
are you more aware?
How do you become more aware of the choices and decisions that you make? And my answer to you was, you wake up.
You wake up?
Now, let me just say that. Let me just say this. If you're a young person and you woke up and you're not aware of choices and decisions that you have to face that day, the minute you wake up, you need to smack your face, put some cold water in your face, shake a little bit, do some jumping jacks, and wake up. Because, come on, Taz, the minute every one of us wakes up in the morning, there's one choice after the next.
Mm-hmm.
When you make first thing you do when you wake up is you make a whole lot of unconscious choices.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because again, we don't pay attention to our unconscious choices, do we? I
No,
mean,
you don't.
no, you don't. You get up in the morning, you turn off the alarm clock. You get up in the morning and you walk to the bathroom. You have a routine.
Yeah.
Those are subconscious choices that you created.
Mm-hmm.
You set those choices into
You made that
routine. You
Mm-hmm.
created that routine. The fact that you're doing it now without thinking, it doesn't exclude the fact that you created those choices and now you put those choices into your subconscious. Note the fact, though, how you can put choices into your subconscious and that shit will act without you even thinking about it.
Now imagine if you do that with like really good habits.
No, imagine you do.
Yeah.
No, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. It happens more than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Your spouse, your closest spouse, can pull a lot of those triggers out of you. Get reactions out of you to unconscious reactions out of you to things that they do all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you react to it all the time the same way. And sometimes it's subconscious, but she does that all the time, and you do the same thing all the time. The fact of the matter is, to get back to your point about paying attention to the questions, how can I say this gently?
Lay it on them.
If you need anything more than someone telling you, pay attention to the choices you make every day. If you need more than that, you just pay attention to the choices that you do every day. I mean, if you have to write stuff down to kind of help you remember at night what you did during the daytime, that's helpful. Journals are helpful.
Yeah.
Journals are good. I've got plenty of journals, and I've used plenty of journals over the years. Maybe that's something that's concrete that you could use, or someone who might be in that situation where they want to try to be more disciplined. Journals are usually more for discipline, not moral clarity. But the discipline is good too in helping you keep an eye on or pay attention to the choices that you make with stuff. And let me say, I said it flippantly, but let me also say too, there are a lot of people who could get to this time of the day, of their day, and not remember something that they did at 7 o'clock this morning. But I mean, there were choices that they made at that time too. So journaling is really good for young people who are trying to, in my opinion, who are trying to organize their life. Writing down stuff during the day. This is how I used to do it first. At night, usually one of the last things I would do at night is write down like 5 things I know I'm going to have to do when I get up tomorrow. Like I already know what I'm going to have to do tomorrow, and I don't want to forget it. So I'll write those things down at night. But then when I get up in the morning, as I do them, I'll maybe check them off, or maybe add some notes to something, or maybe if I tried to get something done but I couldn't reach somebody, I had to leave a message. I'll add notes to making sure that I attempted to at least do those things. Plus, also, as the day goes on, there were some other things that pop up. So you want to write those down as well too. That this person reached out to me today, or this popped up today as well too. So that when you do get to this time of night, you can actually look back and you can see you had a full. I got years of books of my days.
Of you journaling?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. With Men to Boys.
I should start journaling. Journaling is not one thing that I do, but what I do have on my phone, I have reminders, and I have daily reminders. So I have tasks that I at least make sure that I do every single day. So I at least know that because of a goal that I'm trying to reach, I at least do this every single day, so I know I'm getting closer and closer to my goal. So I have that. But
it's like a shopping list.
Yeah, I think journaling will be.
The journaling adds your thoughts. Instead of just being mechanical.
Okay.
it adds more your thoughts to it, and that was important as well too, because not everything was a check off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like some things were like, I got to reach out to so and so we can get this project started or this started or something like that. You reach out to so and you may not get them on the first time, so you got to leave them a message. When you say, okay, left message, and then the person calls you back, and then when they call you back, then you'll get into a conversation about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So after you finish that conversation, I go back to my journal and I want to put those notes in there so I can remember what me and them talked about.
Yeah.
If I come back to this page 2 days from now to see what we talked about on Tuesday.
Okay.
So there's always stuff to write down on it. And to be honest with you, at the end of the day, it makes your day look like you did shit.
Yeah.
I got years of books I can show you.
Yeah, because that's one of the worst things, and I remember feeling that beforehand too, and now like I make sure that I don't feel that way anymore because it makes you feel super guilty. It's like you right before you go to bed, like what did I do today?
Yeah, I used to hate that. No way.
Yeah.
I used to hate that. I had those feelings.
Yeah, because it literally makes you feel like worthless. It's like,
man, I felt like I wasted the day.
Yeah.
Wasted a day because I didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I used to feel that way back in the beginning.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why I started writing stuff down. And, even with a lot of other things, food, there were times when I was losing weight, and because I would go through the day, I'd be so busy, I would forget to eat. And so I started journaling my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and my snack at night. And I made sure every day that I had wrote something down for what I ate for breakfast, wrote something down what I had for lunch, wrote something down what I had for dinner, and wrote something down for snack, and had to write it down.